The Guardian's Martin Chulov has covered the region since 2005, and he joins me now live from CNN Beirut. Martin, thanks so much for being with us. This looks like a serious escalation in this spillover from Syria into Lebanon, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, for the last 2 months, there has been a very significant security dragnet around South Beirut. Hezbollah have been preparing for something like this. They have guarded the suburb known as Dahia. They have guarded the Iranian embassy area, which is just on the northern edge of the airport. This marks the first time since August that any group has been able to penetrate that cordon and detonate explosions like this. It is a strategic target. The Iranian embassy is something that Hezbollah and others had feared would be targeted during this, what is very likely some kind of a spillover from the war in neighbouring Syria into Lebanon. And now it has been hit. And I guess all interest now in the reaction. What will Hezbollah do? What will Iran do in response? We have seen that claim, as you say, that claim of responsibility by the Abdullah al-Azam brigades. That marks an escalation in itself. That's the first time we have seen a claim of responsibility for the 3 attacks that have hit the southern suburbs of Beirut since July.
And there are fears now of an all-out confrontation along sectarian lines between some Sunni groups and Hezbollah at this point, right?
There are, and that certainly is the regional concern, and it is playing out. Worse fears are playing out in Syria, where the original uprising has been transformed into a proxy sectarian war, and on many levels it is a straight-up Sunni-Shia conflict, with the Shias aligning with the Assad regime and the Sunnis, by and large, dominating the opposition. And we are seeing flashpoints across Syria, in Aleppo, in the Kalamun Mountains, just to the east of the Lebanese border, and elsewhere. The fear has long been that the perennially fragile Lebanon will be drawn into this. And while that remains an enduring fear, I do think that the only sign of any real hope here is that the key stakeholders in Lebanon don't have a common interest in bringing the war to this place. They are happy for protagonists or proxies to fight it out in Syria. But there does seem to be some common ground between both rival blocs in this country to try, if they can, to keep this war from spreading to this country and dragging it into the abyss yet again.
And as far as what's happening inside of Syria, I mean, the help of these Hezbollah fighters inside of Syria, anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 perhaps, some help as well from Iranian fighters, seem to be giving Assad, in some key areas, the upper hand.
I think that's right. And it's certainly in the last month or so, there has been a demonstrated ability by regime forces to claw back losses in many of the areas that it had been pushed out from. I'm talking about eastern Aleppo, I'm talking about the Kalamun Mountains, South Damascus, and other parts of the country where the opposition, which had been, I guess, incrementally advancing over many, many months, is now very much on the back foot in those areas. This isn't to say that anything decisive or defining is about to happen in the battle for Syria, but it is saying that the overall mosaic is changing, and one of the fundamental reasons for that is because Hezbollah, the Iraqi militia called Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, which is primarily sourced from Shias in Baghdad, the National Defense Force and others from around the region, are doing whatever they can to prop up the Syrian army, which is battle fatigued. It isn't capable of making many of these advances, and it is being shored up by its allies at a strategically important time, at a time where all sides, except for the Syrian opposition, are trying to sit down at a summit in Geneva and bring an end to this before it drags the region under.